Y'all, I am back. I'm back. And what better way to come back? My grand return with a wonderful, beautiful, delicious, moist pound cake. And this is no regular pound cake. This is the only pound cake you will need from here on out. So screenshot this recipe card right now and keep it with you, because trust me, you will be the king and or queen of the pound cake from here on. All right, let's get this thing started. So we are not playing any games. We are going to sift this flour because sifting brings moisture, makes a cake light, and this pound cake is dense. Add your half teaspoon of baking powder, your fourth teaspoon of salt, and you want to sift it together. Last step I'm going to do is whisk it, just to make sure that salt and that baking powder is incorporated with that flour, and we are going to move it out of the way. So we have 4 sticks of butter or 2 cups, 1 8-ounce block of cream cheese, and we are going to cream this cake. Now, the pound cake, you need to make sure you cream your butters, your cream cheese, and your sugar together something fierce. So I need you guys to pay attention. Okay, so now we're going to start adding our sugars in there. It's 3 cups of sugar. After each cup, I like to cream it because after this 3rd cup, what we're going to do is we are going to take our time. You see this pale yellow color right here? We want to get that as light and as white as we can. So buckle up, Buttercup, and make sure you cream well. Okay, so it is lighting here. You see how it's getting a little lighter? Now I think I'm going to fold once more, but we can get a lighter than that. Let's cream a little bit more. Now what this process is doing is making sure that you have not one sole ingredient that stands out with this creaming. No sugar, it's not gritty. When you pull it or you taste it, it is going to be extremely creamy. That's what we want. Now we're going to add some of this color back in there with these 6 whole eggs. So as you can tell, I do things a little different. I crack open the eggs now and put it in a bowl. 2 reasons. Number 1, you can check and see if any of your eggs are rotten. Number 2, you don't want any shells in the cake. That's embarrassing. So just take the extra step. Crack the eggs in a bowl. So since we're all done with our eggs now, you see how fluffy that is? This is the step that is going to be the most important. This butter flavor. Not butter extract. Do not put butter extract in there. Not the same thing. So I get 2 capfuls, about 1/4 teaspoon of that butter flavoring. So I almost said extract there. 1 tablespoon of my homemade vanilla. And we're going to mix that together. And we're going to get our dry ingredients and start to alternate. When we use our dry ingredients, I'm going to alternate in between the dry ingredient mixture and the buttermilk, starting with the dry ingredient, ending with the dry ingredients. Whenever you add any flour to a cake mix, you do not want to heavily mix. So when you incorporate those ingredients, do it lightly. If there's some flour around that rim, that's fine. Get a spatula, fold it, because you do not want to over mix. It's going to make the cake tough. It's going to make the cake extra dense and dry. And what we want is a moist pound cake. We want it moist. Okay? All right, so now let's get this pan. And I got a tube pan, it's brand new as you can tell. And I spray it with Baker's Joy. I don't use flour, I don't use butter, I don't use shortening because I like to rebel against it. I did it when I was younger. That was my job when I was younger with my grandfather, and I refuse to do it now. So I just spray that bad boy with Baker's Joy and I am good to go. Pour your cake mix into your pan as evenly as possible. And what I like to do here is shake the pan just to make sure it's evenly distributed, and also just run a circle around with the spatula in the batter so I can expose any air bubbles, and I plop the pan on top of the counter just to pop any air bubbles that may be hidden inside of there. See, that's what I did right there. Alrighty, now set your oven 325. This was an hour and 30 minutes, and look at what happened here. Now, because it's so tall, I got me a bamboo skewer and just stuck it down to the very bottom of that cake and pulled it out just to see if there were any crumbs. And it's so minuscule, so minor, so good, it's delicious. That's exactly what we want. And with that Baker's Joy, all I do is run a knife around the edge, and then I double invert this cake. I want this cake to look just like this in my cake pan, so I get a regular plate, I flip it once, boom. And most people stop right here, but not me. I'm gonna flip it again because with the pound cake, the crust is the focal point. For me it is. For most people it is. For me it is. So I like to leave it right side up. Normally you want to wait until this cake completely cools before you cut it, but I am McGreedy and I couldn't wait because it looks so pretty. So remember, with this cake, it is good to make it the day or two before you actually want to serve it. You want time for all of those ingredients to blend well and to cool appropriately, because once again, this is a dense cake and that cooling process is very important for a pound cake. But for this instance, look at what we made. Look at this. Oh my gosh, look at this cake. Look at this pound cake. And when I tell y'all, it is so moist. It just falls apart. It melts in your mouth, and that's what you want. So, hey, thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, make sure you subscribe. It won't be so long, I promise.